Hello, GMan Division 4F, and welcome to your first weekly recap. Now, usually this greeting would come from our dear host Hammersep, but sadly he's off skiing in the Alps, so you're stuck with me. And when you're stuck with me, you get a German lesson. Now, today we're gonna learn about Hammersep's name. You know Hammersep, good old German name. It's comprised of two separate names. One is Hammer and the other is Sepp. Now, Hammer in English means lobster. So lobster is Hammer. And Sepp, it's a name similar to say Joe in English. So what we get if we put the two together, we get Lobster Joe. And now, to show you, I have found a way to integrate Hammersep in this recap, even without him being here. Say hello and welcome to our dear host Hammersep. Yes, I've got this live footage of him from the Alps. Well, maybe slightly late, but you get the gist. And he'll be following us along on this lovely recap. But let's get going into our first game. First up, we had the Kingfisher Knights, coached by Lord Ole, who beat the two Uncommons, coached by Madmob. As you see here, it was a rather close game. It was a close 1-0 win. And yeah, lots of stats I got here for you. You can see both of the teams at the bottom. This will be the common format for the recap, and the game stats on the top. Now, since I haven't watched the game, and you can see the stats for yourself, I thought we'd get Hammersep to tell us a little bit about what happened. Yes, very interesting, Hammersep. To go on. Thank you for that quick summary. Well, as you can see, let's talk about the result a bit. We got some permanent damage on the side of the humans. We have an armor bust on a block kick lineman, which isn't great, but it's not the end of the world. And he managed to level a lineman. Potentially level could be block or dirty player. We'll see what he picks. Now on the other side, I don't see any permanent injuries, and we don't have any levels either, so there isn't too much to say. But, well, I'm sure it will go better for Madmob in the next game. Let's move on to game number 2. Here we had Kislev up against Shores. Slice and Dice lost in a close game against Ragepoo. As you might see from the stats, it was a little bit one-sided. We've got a bunch of armor breaks, lots of cuss, and quite a few permanent damages. We have a dead blotch catcher, which isn't great, and we have a niggle on a just leveled wrestle lineman. And a few more badly hurts, which shouldn't be a big problem, but that's quite a bit of damage and not a good start to the season for the Kislev. What do you say, Hammersep? I have to agree. Now, for the Dwarfs, we have our main killer, who looks like got a bunch of Cas, 4 at that. He basically destroyed the Kislev on his own. And yeah, looks like the game went well for the Dwarfs, not so great for the Kislev, and sometimes that's just how it goes. Let's move on to game number 3. Here we have Pyro TJ's Camry getting a 2-1 win over G-Cell's Vampires. Now, I'm not too familiar with the Camry versus Vampire matchup. You don't see those too often. But it looks like Pyro managed to get quite a bit of blocks here. 52 against only 29. Looks also like he was in possession of the ball for most of the game. And yeah, He got a few removals, actually lots of KOs, and a bunch of casts, so I assume he managed to get ahead by having more people on the pitch, as it sometimes goes. Now let's take a look on the teams. How did they develop? We got a nice MVP in the Tomb Guardian, which is always useful. But we also have a thrower that leveled. Thrower, agility 3 thrower. You know, the Camberry don't come with agility 3, so that's quite handy to have. If it's normal, I'd assume block. If it's a double, probably dodge. But we'll see what he picks up. On the other side, we don't have any damage sustained on the Vamps themselves, who managed to get themselves a few SPP. Count Barnabas Collins is now only 1 SPP of level, so at least that's good. We do have a dead wrestle Thrall, which is red unfortunate, but it could be worse, let's be honest, it's only a Thrall. 2 more Badly Hairs, so no more damage there, and no levels for the Vampires. I think that's it for this matchup, unless Hammersup has anything. Hammersup, do you have anything to say? Looks like he isn't willing to communicate at the moment. So let's move on. Here we have quite a shootout, as it seems, as one would expect in a Skaven mirror match. It ended 3-3, probably a very exciting game. That's quite a bit of touchdowns. And, well, blocks were fairly even, 32-33. Armor breaks, well, they were fairly one-sided, but the removals seem, well, a little bit lopsided. So that should have helped the Garstown Rangers, who were down in TV at the start of the match. Also looks like they decided to get Skitter, which is great at hunting down gutter runners and dealing with them in general. But let's see. On the other side, we have a dead lineman, 5 SPP, gone to the wind. Could be worse. That's just how things go with Skaven. But more importantly, we did get 2 touchdowns on our natural one-turner, agility 5 natural one-turner. Curious to see what he picks for his next level up. I'd probably go with Sure Feet to make those GFIs more reliable. Other than that, we didn't get any level ups. On the other side, we managed to get a touchdown on our Blotch 2-head Gutter Runner, and our Movement 10 Gutter Runner also managed to get in 2 touchdowns, but just not enough to get that extra SPP to get his level. The Blotch 2-head Gutter, what could he get next? If it's normal, well, I'm not sure. Maybe Sure Hands. Sure Hands is also useful. Maybe Big Hand. Depends on if he rolled a double or not. But as you see, quite even game, even result. I'm sure lots of Skaven shenanigans happened, but that's that. Yeah, let's move on. Now, here we have Sir Trevor McD getting a 2-0 win against Lassis Undead. Orcs looks like they had a good time. They got quite a bit of AV breaks, quite a few removals in their favor, and an extra cuss, so, you know, removing the opponent is always useful. Oh, and look at that, the cast was quite, that's not what you want to see if you're a undead coach. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Don't you agree, Hammersep? Look at him. I think he agrees. Look at that face. Now, let's see what we have development-wise. Black Orc looks like he got MNG, not MNG, badly hurt, so that's not important. And, well, a bit of SPP spread around. And Black Orc got the MVP, that's always good to have. But more importantly, on the other side, we have a dead mummy. The next opponent of Lasses will be very happy about that. And, well, curious, might Might have enough money to replace the mummy, which could be very useful, but we'll see. Other than that, not a single level up across both teams, which is rather disappointing because it doesn't give me much to go on about. You know what that means? That means we're moving on to game number 6, where Innovation got the 1-0 win over Crepusculum. Looks like it was another fairly close game, but with quite lopsided AV breaks. The removals also were really one-sided, 7 casts against only 1 on the other side. So looks like the Nurgle did what Nurgles do, and they removed their opponent quite handily. Let's take a closer look at the Nurgle's development here. We got a Beast of Nurgle Casualty and MVP, which puts him really close at the level, which will be really handy to add. We had a badly hurt on a Nurgle Warrior, which, in the end, if you get the win, doesn't really matter. We also got a few more casts on Nurgle Warriors, who don't even have Mighty Blow, so those SPP will come in really handy. The Killer Pestigore, well, one of the Killer Pestigores also got some cast SPP, and the Rookie Pestigore got the touchdown. On the other side, we have, well, it's a bit weirdly ordered, but we do have a dead dirty player block zombie. Not great to lose, but it's only a zombie, and he has more dirty player and more block around, so probably sustainable. Not ideal, but sustainable. Other than that, we have a bunch more badly hurt. Looking at it now, Nurgle Warrior and the Flash Golem might actually be MNG. Sadly, on my software, I can't actually access that right now, so let me look up the tier real quick. In the meanwhile, I'll give you Hammersap to entertain you. Look at him, so joyful. And indeed, it was an MNG on both sides, so that's not great at all. But the Nurgle got the win, so he'll probably still be happy about that result. No levels on the side of the Necro, so that probably means we are moving on to our last game of this week. Here we have, let me clean it up, you saw nothing. We have the White House family losing against the Cane Toads. Big ETB coming in with a win in his first match. Looks like we had quite a one-sided removal game again, which honestly you wouldn't expect to be this lopsided in the favor of the Dark Elves. The Mighty Blow sure got handy here. Let's take a look at the team's development. We do have a level up, Rookie Skeleton leveled. I'd probably expect that to be a second dirty player, because more dirty player is always useful. Other than that, the casualties seem to only have been badly hurt, so no harm done there. Unless there's nothing hiding. On the other side, we have an agility busted lineman, which, he goes on the LOS, that's not a big deal. And we got some nice spread on our blitzers of SPP, nobody leveled, but we got a little bit closer to our next level. MVP fell to the kick lineman, really not ideal, but at least it's better than on a dead lineman. Is there anything left to say about this? I mean, we can show off Hammersap again, look at him waddling away. But I think that's it for our games this week. So let's take a short look at our leaderboard. Here we have it, Sir Trevor McD currently in the lead because he scored one more touchdown than anybody else who won this week. He currently holds the one and only playoff spot. In case you don't know yet, Division 4s get the first goes to the playoffs and second place goes to the Challenger Cup. So two places you want to reach, and lots of competition to get there. Now, in the winning bracket, we have Sir Terry McD, Laurel, Prayer TJ, Rage Poo, and Innovation. Also Big Easy TP. Well, looks like they're already snuck in one. No, it's only played one. Well, I'm just bad at counting, it seems. Now, it's a nice spread of races there at top of the division, but as you all know, this can change very quickly. It's very early in the season, and anyone can still go anywhere. Especially the two Skaven teams are probably not gonna stay at only 1 point, I'd guess. But as you know, there's at the moment little to talk about on the leaderboard, so let's move on to the next week's matchups. While I was preparing, one of you guys already, well, two of you guys already played, and I'm deeply disappointed in you. But let's move on. The first matchup of the week 2 schedule is Lord Owl's Humans versus Pirate HGA's Camry. As you see, they have already scheduled and used a nice little feature on ReBBL.net to let us know when they'll be playing. As always, I am totally prepared. I don't even have Hummus up here to show you. Damn, I have nothing to skip time. Let me look up when exactly they'll be playing. One more second. There we go. They are going to play on the 21st of January at 21 UTC, if any of you guys want to watch the game. Personally, I'm probably gonna give it to Pirate TJ in this matchup. Camry do tend to have a good time against humans, at least when they get the removals. And Pirate TJ is a good enough coach to make sure he controls what happens on the pitch. Next up, we have Skaven ReBBL against the Kislev Syndrome. Probably giving it to the Skaven here. They are better at the agility game than the Kislev. They do have movement 10 at there available, and the Kislev sustained quite a bit of damage in the last game, so I think that should be a lopsided one. Next up, we have Sir Trevor McD against Mad Mob. Now, as you see, I'm totally prepared for this and totally know what those teams look like. So I'm giving it a draw. Easy. You don't know the teams, just hand out the draw. I refuse to comment on the Jaw of Rage vs. Grimtail game. If you want to avoid spoilers, now's the time to skip 5 seconds ahead, because real quick I'm gonna show the result off here. There you go, now you know how the game ended if you really wanted to know. Next up we have the White House family against our favorite vampires, the Dolphangs 2. What am I predicting here? I'm going with the vampires. Let's take a limp of faith, believe that the bloodlust cooled off from the last game, and that Vamps stay on the pitch and get to play ball. Now, that should be a good matchup. Big Easy TP against King Khan. Dark Elves versus Skaven. Should maybe potentially be another shootout. I personally am going to give it to Big Easy TP because I know he is a really good coach, but as you all know, Skaven can always pull off some bullshit to come out ahead. And the last game, but of course not the least game, Legion of the Dead against R in Memoriam. I'm gonna go ahead and say Lazis wasn't too happy about his first loss of the season. He is gonna try to strike back. If he can purchase a second mummy, I'm probably gonna give it to him. If not, I'm gonna go with the Necro. And spoilers, he managed to get the cash to purchase a second mummy. So I'm giving it to the Undead here. That was pretty much it from me for this week. To close out this nice little recap, let's bring up Hamasep again. Let's look at him. Look at him. Look at the little dude. just wobbling away. Isn't he lovely? Anyway, that's it from me and from Hamzeb, and good luck in your next round's game, and let's hope to see you again next week. Hopefully with a real Hamzeb again. Goodbye.